Yeah, I recently restored a Wilton 8450. Bought it about 20 years ago. Completely rusty, disassembled it, and finally forced myself to getting around to cleaning it up. As you can see, the original paint color is a light green color. I'm just gonna leave it all bare metal for right now. Put a little bit of light machine oil all over it. It's gonna stay in my garage, it's not going outside. And maybe in a number more years when I get a mill and a few other things, I'll go ahead and true this up and clean it up super nice and blast it and powder coat it. Probably that original green color, keeping it as original as possible. But anyway, just a quick discussion. Restoring it, pretty simple, pretty easy to disassemble. You pull these swivel nuts off. You pull the screws out of the front collar here. You unscrew the screw all the way out, and then this whole unit slides out. If you look underneath the sliding assembly underneath here, there's a rail. The date code will be on there if you're curious what month and year your Vise was built. Anyway, once you pull all that out, you need to go ahead and pull off the tail cap back here. Just take a wooden dowel, tap it out, come right out. And then there's a dowel pin here, and there's one on the other side. This tail piece that's right here will come out. And then also, once you pop those out, the screw that's inside will come out also. In order to get this out, you go ahead and take a punch and you punch it all the way through. There's two of them, they're about 1 inch long. It's 1/4 inch rod. You punch them all the way through, all the way out to the other side, and then it'll come out. And then you go ahead and get some kind of a bar to tap this out from the inside. This is somewhat of a snug fit. The tail cap really isn't very snug. And then once you get all that apart, clean it up however you want to. There is a product out there called Instead of Lead, which is fine. I guess the original lubrication used to be lead phosphate. It really isn't anything much different than basically like a white lithium grease, which you might use on end plates, brake vacuum plates, which I have some here from Lucas. So anyway, either of those two will work just fine, or anti-seize, or any kind of other bearing grease or chassis grease or whatever kind of grease. It's not really a big deal. You can use graphite lube if you want to. If this is going to be outside, you might want to use some kind of a dry lube. The jaws are simply a 1/2 by 3/4 cold. Basically, I just did cold rolled steel. Obviously, you can see I'm not the most precise machinist here when it comes to making everything. I just have some basic tools. There's a dowel in the middle, which I ground flush, and then I countersunk drilled a little bit too deep, a couple of screws. Those are 1/4 20 screws, and same thing on the other side. And yeah, overall it came out just fine. The one thing that I did have to do is I had to make this swivel screw. I used some hex rod. I think it's 3/4 of an inch, and then I just took this to a grinder wheel. Had to drill a hole here, drill a hole up, tap it. I think it was 1/2 13 is the tap, and I think the drill is 15/16 or something like that. So this is the original swivel screw, and this is the one that I made, and bolted it all down to the workbench. Like I said, I'm just keeping everything bare metal look. So here's a model number 8450. Here's another one, 8450. It looks like 9450, but it's actually 8450. And then the one thing that I'll tell you also too, when you do take out the screw on the inside of here, please note there's numbers on it, whether the numbers are facing up or facing down, because I don't know if they hand drilled these or did it on a drill press back then or whatever, but these dowels will only go in for this tail cap and the screw on the inside one direction. If you mess it up, you got to kind of undo a bunch of stuff to get it back out again. So anyway, clean it up however you want to, paint it however you want to. Making the jaws was kind of a headache, but it's nothing that you can't do just on a drill press, and that's all I did. It's not even a good drill press, but it did the job. And just, you know, use some common sense and go from there, and it'll come out great. Anyway, hope this helps. I'm not going to go through a full restoration video. There's plenty of other people out there that have done that. So it's just kind of an overview. If you've got any questions, just leave a comment.